God damn it, Savannah.
Hi, I'm Savannah and I'm going to show you how to decorate a Mudcup cupcake. First you start by baking all your cakes. I've already pre-filled these, but that will be the first step that I show you. What you will need is you will need a measuring cup, green food coloring, gummy worms, Oreos, a blender, 2 mixing bowls, one small and one large, cream cheese, a scraper, 2 small mixing bowls, and some powdered sugar. So start off by taking your cupcake and taking your fork and poking into the center and going around to create a little pocket. You will be filling this pocket with pudding that you make during the process of baking your cupcakes. So you scrape it out into the bowl, just like that, and you'll have a little pocket like that. And for chocolate, you'll put chocolate pudding, and for vanilla, you'll put vanilla pudding. I made both. Usually you just do chocolate because it's supposed to look like dirt. So I'll set that aside and I'll do the same for the vanilla. And as I'm going around, I'm making sure not to go all the way down, otherwise the pudding soaks into the cake and you end up with a mess and all the cake gets soggy. So I scrape that out and then I add vanilla pudding to the vanilla. Fill it up just so it's at the top of the line. You don't want it overflowing on top of the cake, otherwise it will melt out. So to start the frosting, you'll take the cream cheese and open it up. And because I have 2 boxes of cake, I'll use 2 cream cheese, but for one, you'll only use 1 cream cheese container. So you open up, take all that out and you scrape it into the bowl. Try not to take out your cream cheese too late, otherwise it won't be soft enough to spread it around. So I open up the other one, and the other part that you don't want to do is you don't want to have too much cream cheese, otherwise it won't spread on the cupcake. So next I take my 1 cup of powdered sugar. Powdered sugar, the measurement isn't exact. It depends on how sweet you want your frosting. I like mine sweeter. So I add about 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I put that into the bowl with the cream cheese. So I'll spread that around until it's evenly mixed. So after you're done mixing, you add in 4 drops of green food coloring, and it will come out like this. You can also add more if you want it to be darker. So the next step you do is you take Oreos, just any normal Oreos. You don't have to worry about double stuffed or anything, because what you'll do is you'll scrape out the inside and put them into a bag or into a blender like I did and crush them until they look like dirt. So the next step you do is you take your scraper and you will be putting your icing into any plastic bag. This just saves time, so you don't have to go buy an icing bag, and because not everybody's a professional at home, and it's a little less messy than trying to make each and every cupcake the same. And what I do for mine is I cut a little triangle out of one corner so it comes out to look like grass, which you will see in a little bit. So after you have about half of your icing in your bag, you will squeeze it down to the corner that you cut. And you take your cupcake and you just go around and you dab it up. It doesn't need to be perfect, obviously. It's grass, so there's going to get dirt in it. And it's just supposed to add a little bit of color to your cupcake. So as you're going around, you want to scrape off the edge of your icing tip, just so it doesn't get full of icing and it's still coming out. This is probably the longest part of the process, but it makes the cupcake look that much better. And if it was just a straight line, then it'd look like you have a ring around your cupcake, and that wouldn't make sense. So you're going to do that to both your vanilla and chocolate cupcake. I prefer mine to be a little bit more messy. It doesn't really matter. For any icing you can do, you can get the stuff that are store-bought. I do homemade cream cheese just because it's a lighter, more fluffy looking icing, and it just tastes better. So after you get the icing on, you're going to set that aside, and you're going to take your ground up dirt and you sprinkle that on top of the pudding. This is kind of a messy part, so if you're having like a friend help you, you don't probably want them to do that over your floor. But you cover up the pudding, so it looks like that. And as you sprinkle it on, make sure that if there's a lot of excess, you can just dump it out back into your bowl. Now, I cut my gummy worms in half. You can have them just sitting on top, but what I like to do is I stick one end in here and the other end coming out so it looks like it's coming out of the ground. You can also do this with sour gummy worms too. It's just I think that these look cooler and they're a little bit bigger. You can buy them in bulk. And to finish off your cupcake, you have to set them in the refrigerator for 10 minutes to let them set so the pudding doesn't soak into the cake. And then once you're done, you just take a fork and you can cut them in half or just eat them. They get a little bit messy, but that is how you make a Mudcup cupcake.